a surprisingly good movie. Emphasis on surprise. Yeah, man, it's gonna be tough avoiding spoilers for Ghostbusters Afterlife, because the whole reason the movie works is the spoilers, is the surprises. And you're gonna have to avoid spoilers for a month. I am surprised, although delighted because I got to see it, that Sony aired this film so early. Maybe, I was thinking maybe Paul Rudd is gonna go maybe shoot something. I don't think Quantumania is shooting now, but they're junketing now, and it's a month out. It's a month out. I mean, these spoilers are so big, it's so plentiful. I think they'll leak as soon as the Thursday night showings go up. I mean, it's almost like Venom level spoilers. It's like, I don't know how. I mean, if you're on social media a lot, you should mute Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters Afterlife and like anything adjacent to that you can think of. Because this is a bit like Malignant, where the best way to go into seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife is totally blind. In fact, I would say that Sony shouldn't even release another trailer for this movie, because I went in not expecting anything, and that was the way to go in. Oh, and by the way, make sure that you have seen the 1984 original film at least once. That will be crucial to your enjoyment of this movie. Now, I have taken extra precaution to make sure that I don't even hint at any spoilers here. I'm going to be really, really careful. I didn't have a single spoiler in my Malignant non-spoiler review, because again, I feel that is crucial to the movie-going experience here. I also feel it's important that if you feel comfortable, you see this in a theater with an audience. The New York Comic-Con crowd went crazy throughout the film, and it was justified. It wasn't like, oh, we're just seeing it early and we're at Comic-Con. No, it was worth it. And there was so much cheering that I actually missed a lot of the dialogue. And so I think there will be repeat viewing, because you'll be like, oh, I missed some of it because I was going crazy. I need to see it again. I can tell you that Sony and the Reitmans, of course, have big plans for Ghostbusters, and they might actually get to do it this time. The Ghost Corps logo once again shows up. I think it showed up at the beginning of the other film, the 2016 film. I mean, you have to keep that in mind. Ivan Reitman did produce that film as well, and he didn't know what was wrong with it. I thought it was okay. I had a good time. That was fun. I'll address that a little bit later in this review. This is much better, though. Don't worry about it. But this is not only this not only puts a touching bow on the original film, but it makes a compelling case that the magic can indeed be recaptured with new actors and new talent behind the camera. We were worried about that, but I think that this shows there is a path. It's still a little wobbly, but there's a path. This should be very inspiring to other talent to want to take this on. I hope Ivan Reitman's phone and email start getting just inundated with top-notch talent that wants to. Sorry, I would not have Jason Reitman direct the next one, but I don't think he would even want to be honest with you, to have them come in here. There are 2 end credit scenes. The first is a lot of fun, and the second one is important. The beginning of the movie is choppy, sloppy, and slow. You'll be like, I thought you said this movie was good, Grace, because that's what I was thinking. They showed this at CinemaCon. Nothing leaked out of CinemaCon, but that was a industry trade show. It had some press in attendance, but there were fans at New York Comic-Con who saw it. I haven't seen any spoilers online yet, so I'm very proud of everyone. I think everyone understands how important the spoilers are to the viewing experience on this one. But the beginning of the movie, not great. I not only questioned people who said this movie was good, but I was thinking to myself, what are we even doing here? Come on, this is not good. But once the movie gets going, about 20 minutes in, we never look back. I was like, oh, it is amazing. When the proton pack first turns on, the sound team did an incredible job. I mean, they had great surround sound at New York Comic-Con, by the way. They put in a very good speaker system, and it just enveloped the room. You were like in a proton pack sound, like snuggly blanket, and it actually made me tear up. I didn't actually cry, but I got close. I was like, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. It was also thrilling. I was like, let's go. It was fantastic. The scene of Ecto-1 tearing down Main Street, this is stuff that you've all seen in the trailer, so don't worry about it. Or when they first turn on the sirens, chills. It's all our 1984 favorite elements done right, but with better VFX and sound design, which only turns everything up to an 11. It's cool to see a proper Ghostbusters movie with today's technology. That's really cool. But yet, it still feels like a Ghostbusters film. I think that's important. Jason Reitman is able to perfectly depict the Ghostbusters elements with incredible respect to the original. And he did say that his father was sitting right next to him on set when they were talking at the New York Comic Con. And he said their director's chairs were even touching. So how touching? The movie is very touching. But, Jason Reitman, he has a tremendous respect to the original. He wants to do an homage to that. But I don't think, sometimes we've seen directors get trapped up in that and that it feels stilted and just like a cheap copy. But that's not the case here at all. And you'd be surprised with how many toys Jason Reitman gets to play with it. And that's all I'll say about that. If you are a fan of the 1984 movie, you will love this one. You might think, you might think, you'd be like, oh no, okay, I see what you have no idea. I was shocked at what they actually did. Now, I hope no one ruins it for you. Now, it's still not as good as the 1984 film. Just manage those expectations for a few reasons. Jason Reitman is not a commercial director. We all know that. He knows that. And it shows in this movie. The film, again, is slow to get started, whereas the original hit the ground running. Oh, that was delicious. And this film is smaller in scale. It is smaller in scale. Also, this is an interesting thing. Bill Murray's Peter Venkman was a huge comedic force in the first film. But since this movie focuses on the Spenglers, which has already been confirmed, with McKenna Grace doing an amazing organic Egon Spengler impression. No, she's not possessed by Egon Spengler. Don't worry, I told you there'd be no spoilers in this review. She's his granddaughter, and his hereditary traits were strong. The movie plays, though, like Ghostbusters if Egon was the lead and not Venkman. Venkman is a better lead. Gil Kenan is a co-writer on this film, and it's very similar to Monster House. But thankfully, the child actors are fantastic. Which is good, because it's their movie. And in fact, the child actors are so good that at points the film also feels a bit Spielbergian. But it has that grain that some of the classic Spielberg films did as well. Spielberg's been able to put a sheen on his movies going forward, yet still have that, classic, 1980s blockbuster magic. And I would describe this film in the same way. That's crucial to the Ghostbusters formula. As I said, McKenna Grace knocks it out of the park. She's been building a fan base for a while now, and I never understood why. But now I do, and this should cement it. She's the star of the film, and she earns it 100%, in a role that is surprisingly funny. It is so great to see a smart little girl shine in a blockbuster like this as an awkward scientist, no less. Oh, I loved it. It was so great. It made me so happy. And I think it's ironic that considering all the fuss about the 2016 Ghostbusters film, we still end up with a female lead. But done right, with all due respect, there are very strong comedic talents in that 2016 movie. But while I thought that film was fun, unfortunately, Chris Hemsworth, that's the movie that turned him transitioned him into a comedic career, and I think he's doing a great job there. But the 2016 film seemed like a long TV sketch. More so than a proper film. You might think it's because they had SNL actors, but so did the original, obviously. The great thing about here, this Ghostbusters film, is that, again, it has that grain, it has that 80s blockbuster feel. It feels cinematic. That's really, really important. And McKenna Grace has a phenomenal comedic partner in Logan Kim. This is his very first movie, and during the Comic-Con panel, let's just say he was really, really pretentious, and not in a good way, so I was nervous. But once I saw the movie, I could see in a millisecond why they cast him. He is just gold. He and McKenna Grace are phenomenal. They're Spielbergian level child actors. That's how good they are. Finn Wolfhard and Celeste O'Connor have a subplot that doesn't take off, though, largely because they have no chemistry together. I don't buy them having any connection at all. And they have very little to do. Sorry, Finn Wolfhard fans. But they do round out the group nicely. Also, this movie emphasizes that to properly bust ghosts, it takes a lot of people. It's a team effort. It's not a singular activity. And when I was writing out my notes for this review, it occurred to me that there were opportunities to really drive that message home here. And I think that could have been really nice. All the pieces are here to do that. But Reitman and Kenan don't go that route. And I think that it would have been a better and stronger message for them to do that. Instead, they go with a little bit of a mushier direction, but it has a lot of heart. People gobble up heart. So maybe they did make the right choice. It's a very, very touching movie, but I would have liked them. I think the message thing would have tied it together a little bit better. Paul Rudd, of course, crushes it, and that's all I'm going to say. Carrie Coon is also given a surprisingly cool storyline as Grace and Wolfhard's mother, Finn Wolfhard's mother, but again, that's all I'm going to say. And there is a whole ton of other amazing stuff in the movie we're going to talk about in the spoiler review. It is really hard not to talk to you about it. Stay away from anyone who has seen this movie. Be very careful. Mute those terms on social media. But you're going to have a great time seeing this movie, and I can't wait to talk to you about it in the spoiler review. Watch that 1984 film. Make sure you've seen it. Sometimes I tell you movies shouldn't have homework, and they shouldn't. But in this case, it's got homework. But it's delightful homework. How have you not seen the 1984 film? If you haven't, that is an atrocity that you need to correct. Because the Reitmans have said that they made this for fans of that film, and they deliver in that regard. Incredibly strong. I'm very excited to see what comes next. I still don't feel the Ghostbusters franchise is totally back in good hands. I mean, it never left the same hands, but I guess, I still feel Ivan Reitman's are a bit shaky. He did, again, do that 2016 film, and this one is not perfect. But I do feel better. It will be crucial who directs and writes the next film. I implore them to get strong comedic talent with blockbuster experience. Phil Lord and Chris Miller would actually, be perfect. But it's important, again, as I said, that Ghostbusters never have a slick film package. It needs that grittiness, that 80s blockbuster feel, that underdog feel to really work. And Jason Reitman, fortunately, understands that. And that's one of the main reasons this movie works. And so I guess I'm saying I wouldn't want another Ghostbusters movie to have the 21 Jump Street slickness. But I think Lord and Miller would get it. Solo, at least the stuff that they filmed, had that kind of texture to it. So I think that's who I would go after. And they have a very strong relationship with Sony. I think maybe even, were they? Maybe there was a headline at one point they were. That's who I would be that's who I'd be reaching out to. It's crucial they get the right person. And one last thing. You've seen it in the trailer. Finn Wolfhard's character works in an old-fashioned diner in the movie. It's really cute and fun. So I recommend that as part of your Ghostbusters Afterlife night out, you include burgers, fries, and milkshakes. Trust me, you will be happy that you did. All right, so that's my non-spoiler review of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Good luck avoiding all the spoilers. I can't wait for you to see it so we can talk about it. Share your thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.